One day, a young monk approached Buddha with a troubled heart. He had recently fallen in love with a fellow disciple and felt confused about balancing his spiritual practice and his feelings. The monk, filled with doubt, asked Buddha, "Master, how can one live happily in a relationship? Love seems to bring both joy and suffering." Buddha smiled gently and invited the monk to sit by his side under the Bodhi tree. The afternoon sun cast a warm glow, and a soft breeze rustled the leaves, creating a peaceful atmosphere. Buddha spoke calmly, "Before I answer, let me tell you a story about a prince and a village girl." The young monk listened attentively as Buddha began. The story of Prince Gautama and Kissa. Long ago, before I became the Buddha, I was a prince named Siddhartha Gautama. I lived a life filled with luxury, surrounded by wealth and power. But despite everything I had, I felt an emptiness deep inside, a sense of unfulfilled longing. The material things I possessed never brought me lasting happiness, only momentary satisfaction. One day, while walking through the village, I met a girl named Kissa Gautami. She was humble, but her eyes sparkled with kindness and compassion. I felt a connection with her that I had never felt before. She came from a poor family, but her spirit was rich with joy, and I was drawn to her simplicity and warmth. As I got to know Kissa, I realized that true happiness didn't come from wealth or status, but from a deep understanding and connection between two people. But soon, I also realized that even the love between us was not enough to fill the void I felt within. The more I sought happiness through her, the more I became attached, and with attachment came fear, fear of losing her, fear of change, fear of suffering. One day, Kissa came to me with a tearful face. She had just lost her beloved son, and the pain of his death was unbearable. She begged me to find a way to bring her son back to life, desperate for a solution. I wanted to help her, but I knew that even my love could not take away her suffering. That was when I realized something profound. Love, in its purest form, is not about attachment or possession. It is about understanding and compassion. The essence of a happy relationship. Buddha paused and looked at the young monk, who was deeply immersed in the story. "You see, my young friend," Buddha continued, "a relationship can bring great joy, but it can also bring suffering if it is based on attachment. Many people think that love means to possess another person, to control them, to make them the source of their happiness. But this is not love, it is attachment, and attachment always leads to suffering." The monk furrowed his brow, "But how can we love without attachment, Master? Isn't love about being deeply connected to someone?" "Indeed, love is about connection," Buddha replied. "But a healthy, happy relationship is built on mutual understanding and compassion, not on dependency. It is about supporting each other's growth, not trying to fulfill your own needs through the other. If you truly love someone, you will want to see them happy, even if that means letting go of your own desires." Buddha then shared the following teachings. Practice self-love first. Before you can love someone else, you must learn to love yourself. If you rely on another person to make you happy, you are giving them power over your emotions. But when you are grounded in self-love, you bring a sense of completeness to the relationship, rather than looking for someone to complete you. You and your partner become companions on a journey, not halves trying to make a whole. Cultivate compassion and understanding. Compassion is the foundation of a happy relationship. When you truly understand your partner, their joys, their sorrows, their fears, you can respond to their needs with kindness, rather than with judgment. Compassion allows you to love unconditionally, without expecting anything in return. Embrace impermanence. One of the greatest sources of suffering in relationships is the fear of change or loss. But life is constantly changing, and nothing lasts forever. When you accept the impermanence of all things, you can appreciate each moment with your partner without clinging to it. You learn to love without trying to control the future. Communicate with honesty. Open and honest communication is essential. When you are transparent about your feelings, your needs, and your boundaries, you create a space for trust to grow. Avoid harboring resentment by speaking truthfully, but with kindness. This fosters mutual respect and understanding. Let go of expectations. Many relationships suffer because people hold unrealistic expectations of their partner. They expect their partner to make them happy, to never change, to always act in certain ways. But this leads to disappointment. Instead, approach the relationship with an open heart, free from expectations, and allow your partner to be who they are. The monk's realization. As Buddha finished speaking, the young monk felt a sense of clarity. He realized that his confusion had stemmed from the belief that his love for the disciple would solve all his inner turmoil. But now he understood that happiness in a relationship comes from within, from self-awareness, compassion, and non-attachment. Buddha smiled, seeing the peace in the monk's face. Remember, a relationship is like a river. It flows naturally, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent. Your role is not to control the river but to navigate it with wisdom and compassion. If you love with a free and open heart, without clinging or fear, you will find peace and happiness, both within yourself and with your partner. The monk bowed deeply to Buddha, grateful for the wisdom he had received. He walked away from the Bodhi tree with a new sense of purpose, ready to embrace his relationship with a heart full of love, not attachment, and to live happily in the present moment. And thus, the young monk learned the secret to living happily in a relationship, a lesson that would guide him not only in love but in all his interactions with the world.